Um, when I process, I don't have many tears, and I'm wondering if I'm going causally, and and how I'm going on the track, I guess.
If you're saying by process, you're saying you're crying.
Yes.
And if you're crying and you don't have tears, then you have a block. The truth is that a child, when it cries, always has tears except for one circumstance. Have you noticed the circumstance? In your children, when they cry without tears? That's when they are, when you call it crocodile tears, what is it? They are trying to get attention. They are trying to manipulate their environment in some way. Does that make sense? And so what happens when we are crying without tears is there's still a block that there's something wrong with the tears. And while there's a block about there being something wrong with the tears, the actual tears won't fully come. The actual causal emotion won't fully be released. So what you need to look at, Paul, is the emotions regarding things like, this is Paul, isn't it? Yes. What you need to look at are the emotions regarding your belief systems around crying. Does that make sense? And those belief systems range, there's a large range of them. Right from, if you cry, you're no longer a man, you know, be a man, stop crying, from that stuff, right the way through to every time you cried, I gave you something to cry about. Do you know what I mean? And so therefore, you had to hide your tears, you had to try to control them and control the whole process of crying. So in between that, there's a large gamut of all sorts of projection or blocking emotions that your parents would have projected at you for you to not have tears when you cry. The truth is, when you're fully feeling a causal emotion regarding grief, you will always have tears.
Sometimes mostly I get a tiny bit, but hardly any.
You sort of water up.
Just a little bit, but then I can watch a movie, something on a movie, and it'll make me cry more.
Exactly. So what are you looking for? See, quite often when we're crying and there's no water, and we're not really teary,
yes.
And then we watch a movie and we are really teary, what are we looking for? We're basically saying, I can't feel this emotion unless somebody else external to me,
yes,
right, in this case the players in the movie, but unless somebody else external to me actually validates that I'm allowed to have this emotion. So part of the problem might be that you don't feel your emotion is valid unless somebody else is sharing it with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But you need to investigate these things for yourself. They're all blockages to the underlying emotion.
Mm.